Hello, everybody. My name is Darren Dunlop with Fargo-Moorhead West Fargo Chamber. We're in episode 2 of our video member spotlight, and I'm honored today to have Stephanie Schroeder join us. She is the Chief Digital Marketing Officer for Forum Communications. So, Stephanie, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thanks so much for having me, Darren.
One of the things I wanted to check in with you first is, of course, the big topic, everybody's topic is the COVID-19. So I really wanted to ask you initially, what has the impact of COVID-19 been on the forum, and how are you handling operations, and just take it from there.
Sure. Yeah, Darren, I don't think there's probably a single business that hasn't seen some sort of negative impact as a result of COVID-19. There's been so many challenges for all of us in the community, and the forum is certainly no exception. So, one of those challenges has been just shifting so much of our workforce to work from home. I'm actually in my home office right now as we speak, hoping to get back into the office soon though. So that's been just a unique challenge, but also we've been really fortunate to have so much technology like this at our fingertips to be able to do that successfully. Another challenge has just been, a constantly evolving 24-hour news cycle. Of course, we're used to reporting the news 24 hours a day, but this has made it so much more imperative that people get news right away for the health and safety of themselves and their families. And so some things that our newsrooms have had to do to adjust is change the beats of some of our reporters. So, now that there's a lot fewer sports stories happening, some of those reporters who maybe used to cover sports are now covering health topics or other topics that we hear from community members that they're concerned about. So it's just a matter of being agile and adapting to be able to provide the news in a timely manner to our community. But I think one of the other probably biggest challenges has been with so many businesses closing their doors either temporarily or permanently. Those businesses haven't been advertising, many of them. And so obviously advertising is a really big part of how we fund journalism and fund our newspapers. And so the forum has made the decision to eliminate the Monday and Friday print editions of the paper. And we've had to make those decisions in many of our markets, unfortunately. But that's also presented an opportunity, which is to really help people embrace digital news. And so one way we've done that is through the e-paper. And we still do publish an e-paper on Mondays and Fridays, those days when the print paper has gone away. And so it's just given us opportunities to provide the news to people in a new digital format.
Now, I know that there's the regular subscription rate for the hard copy, but there's also a subscription rate for the electronic version, isn't there? And I mean, what are some of the benefits of each of those?
Yeah, so if you are a print subscriber, you actually get everything included on the digital site with your subscription. So there's no additional fee or anything there. But if you aren't a print subscriber and you do still want access to our digital products, you can purchase a digital subscription as well. And regardless of your subscription type, all of our subscriptions give you unlimited access to content on our news sites. And so that's not just in Forum, that is actually all news sites across our entire network. So the Forum, many people don't know, Forum Communications actually owns papers all throughout a 4-state area. So if you have family ties in Grand Forks or Duluth or Rochester or any of the locations where we have news outlets, you're able to access all of those sites using your one set of login credentials with your subscription. So that's a really big benefit. I mentioned the e-paper a little bit ago. People, especially print subscribers, often really enjoy the e-edition of the paper because it's an exact replica. So if you really like the curated version of the news where you can see the front page and know that that top story above the fold is the one that we consider to be probably the most important for that day. And then you can flip through the pages and read your comics and get your crossword puzzle and things like that. All of that is available in the e-paper. So people typically really enjoy that format too. We also offer mobile app. We have breaking news alerts, and that's not even just only for subscribers, that's for everybody. So, one thing we hear a lot during COVID-19 is people need to take a break from the news. And, I've been there. There's so much out there. It can be really daunting to keep reading so much up on coronavirus. And so if you are in that position where you feel like you need to take a break from the news, breaking news alerts is a really good way to make sure that you don't miss any of the really important stuff, because you get it delivered right to your inbox. You don't have to necessarily keep checking up on it, but you know that you're not going to miss anything super important.
So that's very interesting. So Stephanie, is the shift to electronic newspapers, is that a trend that's going on all over the country, or is this something that you're way out in front of?
Yeah, we are pretty much in line with every other news organization in the country right now with our push for transitioning to digital. So, every news site that you go to, you'll probably experience very similar experiences as when you go to Inforum, and you'll maybe hit a paywall, which is those pop-ups that pop up on the site and let you know, you have 3 free articles remaining, 2 free articles remaining, things like that. That's just the nature of the news industry right now. And the reason behind that is subscriptions fund journalism. The real sad reality, Darren, is 1 in 5 news organizations have completely ceased to exist in the last 15 years. And so when that happens, those communities become news deserts. And that just means that that's a whole community that no longer has reporters reporting on the news. And that's really, really tragic when that happens. And so we are trying everything we can to obviously make sure that that doesn't happen in any of our communities. And certainly in Fargo, we don't want to become a news desert. We want to continue to provide the news that people need, especially right now. And one way that we do that is by having digital subscriptions that fund our work.
Okay. Well, thank you very much for that. Yeah, and even a guy like me I'm an e-subscriber, and I do like the old school actual version of the paper. That's my particular version of it. But Stephanie, so obviously there's been a lot of changes to your company in the last couple of years transitioning over. What are your thoughts on the future? For the Inforum, our market, and maybe newspapers in general.
Yeah, I wish I had a crystal ball, especially during COVID-19, to know not only what our business will look like, but what anybody's business is going to look like in even just a couple short months. It's been crazy to see how much has changed in just, a month and a half with all of this going on in our country. But I think the one thing I can tell you is this whole situation has shown us that people desperately need local news. And that is not going to change. People need news to protect their families and to feel safe and to get information that they need for the health and safety of themselves and everyone around them. And so I think what the future looks like is people coming out and supporting journalism in whatever way that looks like to them, whether it's purchasing the printed newspaper or whether it's purchasing a digital subscription. Everybody prefers different formats, but subscriptions are what's going to fund journalism to keep local news alive in our communities. And we've had so many subscribers already come out and just offer such nice comments to us, telling us how important this information is, and telling us why they're supporting us and telling their friends about it. And we've seen so much more support in the past couple of months from subscribers who don't want to see their community become a news desert. And obviously, neither do we. So we really are so grateful for that. And I think the future looks promising.
That's wonderful. Well, Stephanie, I want to thank you very much. Thanks so much for your time today. Thank you for the update on the e-forum. We're very interested in hearing about that. And yes, you're absolutely right. We want to make sure that we continue to keep our news local, get the information out. And thank you to you yourself. Thank you to the forum for your commitment to our community and the long-term viability of news gathering. So on behalf of the Fargo-Moorhead West Fargo Chamber, our communities, our region, and the 20 other markets that you guys serve. So that's wonderful to hear. Thank you for the update, and we'll look forward to seeing you down the road sometime very soon.
Thanks so much, Darren. And thanks so much for all the Chamber does for all businesses throughout our community. I don't know where we'd be without you guys.
Thank you very much. And Stephanie, on a side note, I have to ask you. So my mother-in-law, this crazy crossword puzzle, you brought it up, and it reminded me I was supposed to ask you this. But she's wondering, so can she?
We get asked a lot.
Can she print off the crossword to work on?
She can, and so right now she can do it from the e-paper.
Okay.
We're actually getting a lot of questions about this right now, so we just started a marketing campaign about it. So tell her to look for the little ads that talk about clipping your crossword, but she can print it from the e-paper. She can also, coming soon, we're going to make those available on the website as well. So you don't have to access necessarily the e-paper, but you can just go to inforum.com/hopefully crosswords or whatever it's going to be.
Okay.
That isn't available yet, but yes, she will be able to print it.